afternoon. My name is Donna Thiesel. I'm your host of The Edge on IC Radio, found on television as well, channel 182 on Charter Communications, and Abundance Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday from 1 to 3 p.m. You can find us on all the social media sites as well. Also on the newscasters.com. That's our new podcast show. Thank you again so much for watching. If you have any ideas for some shows or something you just want me to do a little research on, send an email and I'll jump on it just as soon as I can. Donna@donnasedge.com. So Randy sent an email. He said, I have an idea for a bill. I just don't know the necessary steps, and I think you can probably help me find it. So we have. Now, you remember it was just an old show that would come on Saturdays, and I think it was called Schoolhouse Rock. And they would tell you how to pass it. It was like how to pass a bill, the steps you go through. It was a little more intriguing than that. But I just want to kind of refresh your memory. Let's talk about that video just for a few seconds. Here it is.
Whew, you sure gotta climb a lot of steps to get to this Capitol building here in Washington. Well, I wonder who that sad little scrap of paper is.
I'm just a bill, yes, I'm only a bill, and I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill. Well, it's a long, long journey to the capital city. It's a long, long wait while I'm sitting in committee, but I know I'll be a law someday. At least I hope and pray that I will, but today I am still just a bill.
Gee, Bill, you certainly have a lot of patience and courage.
Well, I got this far. When I started, I wasn't even a bill. I was just an idea. Some folks back home decided they wanted a law passed, so they called their local congressman, and he said, you're right, there ought to be a law. Then he sat down and wrote me out and introduced me to Congress, and I became a bill. And I'll remain a bill until they decide to make me a law. I'm just a bill, yes, I'm only a bill, and I got as far as Capitol Hill. Well, now I'm stuck in committee, and I'll sit here and wait while a few key congressmen discuss and debate whether they should let me be a law. I hope and pray that they will, but today I am still just a bill.
Listen to those congressmen arguing. Is all that discussion and debate about you?
Yeah, I'm one of the lucky ones. Most bills never even get this far. I hope they decide to report on me favorably, otherwise I may die.
Die?
Yeah, die in committee. Oh, but it looks like I'm gonna live. Now I go to the House of Representatives and they vote on me.
If they vote yes, what happens?
Then I go to the Senate and the whole thing starts all over again.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. I'm just a bill. Yes, I'm only a bill. And if they vote for me on Capitol Hill, well, then I'm off to the White House where I'll wait in a line with a lot of other bills for the president to sign. And if he signs me, then I'll be a law. How I hope and pray that he will. But today I am still just a bill.
You mean even if the whole Congress says you should be a law, the president can still say no?
Yes, that's called a veto. If the president vetoes me, I have to go back to Congress and they vote on me again, and by that time you're so
By
old,
that time, it's very unlikely that you become a law. It's not easy to become a law, is it?
No, but how I hope and pray that I will. But today I am still just a bill.
He signed your bill. Now you're a law.
Oh, yes.
Definitely something to celebrate. So how many times have you just sat around with friends, you have coffee and cake, and you talk about how to make the world a better place? You know, how to make this country a great country. You know, different ideas on how to make a small business run smoother. You know, those kinds of things. We all have those ideas. As a matter of fact, I've got one that I'm working on right now. Can be complicated. It's long. It takes a long time for it to happen because there's so many steps. So let's go ahead and break those down because we all want the world to be a better place, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. This is a fabulous website, votesmart.org. Votesmart.org. So let's go ahead and break this down into little bits and little bites and pieces, and then we're going to see if we can make some things happen. Okay, now this is Government 101, how a bill becomes law. So we're going to go through the introduction, the Constitution, Congress, President, how a bill becomes law, elections, electoral college, campaign finances, the budget, state governments, historical documents. But number one, how a bill becomes law. We can all do it, okay? Number one, okay, first of all, legislation is introduced. Any member can introduce a piece of legislation. So let's talk about this. Okay, House. So legislation is handed to the clerk of the House or placed in the hopper. Okay, now Senate. Members must gain recognition of the presiding officer to announce the introduction of a bill during the morning hour. If any senator objects, the introduction of the bill is postponed until the next day. Sometimes you just have to keep going back and back and back. A lot of it, I think, depends on the mood. Believe me, they're all only human beings. Okay, these are people that we vote for and put in the office. Okay, Senate. So members must gain recognition of the presiding officer to announce the introduction of a bill during the morning hour. Again, if any senator objects, the introduction of the bill is postponed until the next day. Now, let's go to B. That was A. Let's go to B. Committee action. Okay, now the bill is referred to the appropriate committee by the Speaker of the House or the presiding officer in the Senate. Most often, the actual referral decision is made by the House or Senate. Bills must be referred to more than one committee and may also be split so that parts are sent to different committees. The Speaker of the House may set time limits on committees. Now, bills are placed by the calendar of the committee to which have been assigned. Failure to act on a bill is really equivalent to killing it. So bills in the House can only be released from committee without a proper committee vote by a discharge petition signed by a majority of the House memberships, 218 members. Now, steps in the committee. So let's talk about those. I'm breaking it down, okay? Okay, number one, comments about the bill's merit are requested by government agencies. Number two, bills can be assigned to subcommittee by chairman. Number three, hearings may be held. Number four, subcommittees report their findings to the full committee. Number five, finally, there's a vote by the full committee. Long way, right? But it's worth it if it's something you're passionate about. The bill is ordered to be reported. Now, number six, the committee will hold a markup session, you've heard about those, during which it will make revisions and additions. Now, if substantial amendments are made, the committee can order the introduction of a clean bill, which will include the proposed amendments. Now, the new bill will have a new number and will be sent to the floor while the old bill is discarded. Now, the chamber must approve, change, or reject all committee amendments before conducting the final passage vote. Number seven, this is lengthy, but we all need these steps, okay? You need to know. Number seven, in the House, most bill goes to the Rules Committee before reaching the floor. Now, the committee adopts rules that will govern the procedures under which the bill will be considered by the House. A closed rule sets strict time limits on debate and forbids the introduction of amendments. Now, these rules can have a major impact on whether the bill passes. The Rules Committee can be bypassed in three different ways. Those ways are, number one, members can move rules to be suspended. It requires a 2-3 vote. A discharge petition, this is number two, a discharge petition can be filed. And number three, the House can use a calendar Wednesday procedure. Now let's talk about C, which is floor action. Okay, legislation is placed on the calendar. Okay, this is the House. Bills are placed on one of 4 House calendars. So the Speaker of the House and the Majority Leader decide which will reach the floor and when. Legislation can also be brought to the floor by a discharge petition. We talked about that a minute ago. Now, Senate, legislation is placed on the legislative calendar. There's also an executive calendar to deal with treaties and nominations. Scheduling of legislation is the job of the majority leader. Bills can be brought to the floor whenever a majority of the Senate chooses. Number 2, debate. A lot of us are really good at that. In a kind way. There are ways you can do this, okay? House. Debate is limited by the rules formulated in the Rules Committee. Here's where you need to show some compassion, okay? The Committee of the Whole debates and amends the bill, but cannot technically pass it. Debate is guided by the sponsoring committee, and time is divided equally between the proponents and opponents. Now, the committee decides how much time to allot to each person. Amendments must be germane to the subject of a bill. No riders are allowed. The bill is reported back to the House to itself and voted on. A quorum call is a vote to make sure there are enough members present, 218, to have a final vote. Now, if there's not a quorum, the House will adjourn or send the sergeant at arms out to round up missing members. Okay, Senate. Okay, the debate is limited unless cloture is invoked. Members can speak as long as they want, and amendments need not be germane, but riders are often offered. Entire bills can therefore be offered as amendments to other bills. Unless cloture is invoked, senators can use a filibuster to defeat a measure by talking it to death. We see a lot of that, don't we? Number 3, okay, vote. The bill is voted on. If passed, then it is sent to the other chamber unless the chamber already has a similar measure under consideration. Now, if either chamber does not pass the bill, then it dies. If the House and Senate pass the same bill, then it is sent to the President. If the House and Senate pass different bills, they're sent to a conference committee. Most major legislation goes to conference committee. Let's head to a commercial break because it's going to get kind of deep. So let's go to a commercial break and we'll be right back in just a few minutes. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonesmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender. Jeff McCurdy of the McCurdy Law Firm has been a public service of this area for over 10 years. McCurdy, a member of the Henniger City Council, serves as prosecutor for the town of Sylvania and was named public defender for the city of Rainsville. The McCurdy Law Firm is located at 17326 Alabama Highway 75 in Henniger. to better represent his Jackson and DeKalb County clients. If you need to be represented by a true public servant with proven success, call Jeff at 256-996-8701 or send a private email to mccurdy.lawfirm@gmail.com. No representation is made that the legal services performed is greater than the legal services performed by other lawyers.
Wow, it's so soft and smooth.
It's cool to the touch. How did you do that?
Well, we took MyPillow's patented fill and combined it with this new technology that we didn't have back then when I invented MyPillow to bring you the best pillow in history, MyPillow 2.0. Because of all of you, MyPillow 2.0 has been a huge success, and now we're bringing you our best-selling Go Anywhere MyPillows with the same temperature-regulating technology. Made with my patented adjustable fill and brand new cooling fabric, they're truly the next generation of MyPillow. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save over 60% on our MyPillow 2.0 4-pack special. You'll get 2 MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows, regular $259.92, now only $99.98. King size just $10 more. This is a limited time offer, so please order now.
The Hatter Cafe and Country Inn is nestled in the northeast corner of Alabama the Beautiful in the delightful town of Mentone. We're located on top of scenic Lookout Mountain near Little River and DeSoto State Park and located only 5 minutes from shopping and restaurants. There is also a nearby community walking path and golf course. We welcome everyone through the doors and we are committed to outstanding service for all guests. At the Hatter Cafe and Country Inn, we invite people from all walks of life to come and get away from it all, enjoy the open spaces, treetop views, fresh, clean air, and experience Southern hospitality at its finest. We look forward to hosting you. To reserve a special event, or if you would love a special getaway at the Country Inn, you can call us at 256-634-2018. Okay, we're back. My name is Donna, and I am your host of Donna's Edge, found on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, and Abundance Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. You can find us on podcast, thenewscasters.com. If you have any ideas for shows, just something you want me to do a little research on, I love research, so please do. Send it to Donna at donnasedge.com. Donna at donnasedge.com. Got a lot of resources here. I have a huge library, so lots and lots of things I can find the answer for you. It may take me a little while, but I'll find it. Okay, so let's talk about the president. Okay, this is E. So we talked about, we went to A, which is legislation is introduced. B, committee action. We talked about that. Number C, floor action. D, conference committee. E, the president. Okay, so the bill is sent to the president for review. A bill becomes law if signed by the president or if not signed within 10 days and Congress is in session. Now, if Congress adjourns before the 10 days and the president has not signed the bill, then it does not become law. This is called pocket veto. Okay, if the president vetoes the bill, it is sent back to Congress with a note listing his or her reasons. The chamber that originated the legislation can attempt to override the veto by the vote of 2/3 of those present. Now, if the veto of the bill is overridden in both chambers, then it becomes law. Okay? So there's a way around things. Okay, number F, or letter F, the bill becomes a law. Now, once a bill is signed by the president or his veto is overridden by both houses, it becomes a law and it's assigned as an official number. Now, let's go through the glossary of terms because this is important as well. You got to know where to start, which direction to go in, and the process. The more you understand the process, the more likely you are to get the bill passed. A lot of it really, really depends on your passion as well. Okay, now House legislation legislative calendars. The Union calendar, a list of all bills that address money and may be considered by the House of Representatives. Generally, bills contained in the Union calendar can be categorized as appropriation bills or bills raising revenue. Okay, now the House calendar, a list of all public bills that do not address money and may be considered by the House of Representatives. Now this is a corrections calendar. So a list of bills selected by Speaker of the House in consultation with the majority leader or the minority leader that may be considered in the House and debated for 1 hour. Generally, bills are selected because they focus on changing laws, rules, and regulations that are judged to be outdated or unnecessary. So a 3-5 majority and those present and voting is required to pass bills on the corrections calendar. Now again, you can find all of this information right here at votesmart.org, votesmart.org. Okay, now let's talk about the private calendar. The private calendar, a list of all the private bills that are to be considered by the House. This is called on the first and third Tuesday of every month. Now let's talk about the type of legislation. Bills. A legislative proposal that is passed by both the House and the Senate and approved by the President becomes law. Now, each bill is assigned by a bill number. HR denotes the bills that originate in the House, and S denotes bills that originate in the Senate. So, the HR, that's the House, and S, Senate. Now, a private bill. This is a bill that is introduced on behalf of a specific individual that is, if it is enacted into law, only affects that specific person or organization the bill concerns. Often private bills address immigration or naturalization issues. Public bill. A bill that affects the general public if enacted into law. Simple resolution. Now, a type of legislation that is designated by HRES or SRES that is used primarily to express the sense of the chamber where it is introduced or passed. It only has the force of the chamber passing the resolution. Now, a simple resolution is not signed by the president and cannot become private law. Concurrent resolutions. Okay, a type of legislation designated by HConres or SConres that is often used to express the sense of both chambers to set annual budget or to fix adjournment dates. Concurrent resolutions are not signed by the president and therefore do not hold the weight of law. Now let's talk about joint resolutions. A type of resolution designated by HJRES or SJRES that is treated the same as a bill unless it proposes an amendment to the Constitution. Now in this case, 2/3 majority of those present and voting in both the House and the Senate and 3/4 ratification of the states are required by the constitutional amendment to be adopted. Now other terms, let's talk about Calendar Wednesday. Okay, a procedure in the House of Representatives during which each standing committees may bring up for consideration any bill that has been reported on the floor on or before the previous day. The procedure also limits debate for each subject matter to 2 hours. Cloture. This is a motion that is generally used in the Senate to end a filibuster. Invoking this requires a vote 3/5 of the full Senate. Now, if it's invoked, further debate is limited to 30 hours. It is not a vote to the passage of the piece of legislation. Now, Committee of the Whole, a committee including all members of the House. It allows bills and resolutions to be considered without adhering to all the formal rules of a House session, such as needing a quorum of 218. All measures of the Union calendar must be considered first by the Committee of the Whole. We've heard of co-sponsors, so what's that? Okay, a member or members that add his or her name formally in support of another member bill. Now, in the House, a member can become a co-sponsor of a bill at any point up to the time the last authorized committee considers it. So in the House, a member can become co-sponsor of a bill any time before the vote takes place on the bill. However, a co-sponsor is not required, and therefore not every bill has a co-sponsor or co-sponsors. Okay, we've got time for just a few more. Let's talk about discharge petition. So discharge petition is a petition that, if signed by a majority of the House, 218 members, requires a bill to come out of a committee and be moved to the floor of the House, filibustered. An informal term for extended debate or other procedures used to prevent a vote on the bill in the Senate. Okay, now germane, relevant to the bill or business being either whether it's either chamber is addressing. So the House requires an amendment to meet a standard of relevance unless a special rule has been passed. Now let's talk about hopper. We've all heard these terms, but let's know what they are, okay? Hopper, a box on the House clerk's desk where members deposit bills and resolutions to introduce them. Morning hour. Okay, we all heard this. A 90-minute period on Mondays and Tuesdays in the House of Representatives set aside for 5-minute speeches by members who have reserved a spot in advance on any topic. Now you hear that, and they'll say, 5 minutes, Mr. Smith. 5 minutes, Mr. Turner. You hear all of that. That's what it's all about. Motion to recommit. A motion that requests a bill to be sent back to committee for further consideration. Normally, the motion is accompanied by instructions concerning what the committee should change in the legislation or general instructions, such as that the committee should hold further hearings. Motion to table. A motion that is not debatable can be made by any senator or representative on any pending question. Agreement to the motion is equivalent to defeating the question tabled. Quorum. The number of representatives or senators that must be present before business can begin. Sometimes people make trips and not the appropriate number are there. Now, in House, 218 members must be present for a quorum. In the Senate, 51 members must be present. However, Senate can conduct daily business without a quorum unless it is challenged by the point of order. Okay, sponsor is an original member who introduces a bill. Writer, an informal term for an amendment or provision that is not relevant to the legislation where it's attached. Veto. Okay, let's talk about this. Okay, veto is power that allows the president, a governor, or a mayor to refuse approval of a piece of legislation. Federally, a president returns to a vetoed bill by the Congress, generally with a message. Congress can accept or veto or attempt to override the veto by a 2/3 majority of those present and voting in both the House and the Senate. Okay, I hope that makes it as clear as muddy water for you. A lot to know, a lot to learn. I've got one I'm working on right now, and it may be next year before I can actually get out there to get it done. But my name is Donna with Donna's Edge. Thank you so much for watching. You can find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, and Abundant Television, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. I'll keep you adverse and let you know what the steps are and as it happens. You can also find our podcast on thenewscasters.com. Send an email to Donna@donnasedge.com. Again, thank you so much for watching. You're very, very special in my life.